Welcome to the Let's Talk BS podcast. I'm Bryan.
And I'm Sofia, and we're coming to you live from the
757.
Good morning, Bryan.
Hey, good morning, Sofia. How you doing?
I am doing good.
That's good.
It's a good morning today.
Yeah.
It's going to be a nice day today.
Yeah. We're getting some spring weather here in the wintertime,
Yes.
And it's a Friday. Normally, they trick us and give us the good weather during the week where we can't really enjoy it. So I'm definitely looking forward to at least today. I think this week, the rest of the weekend is going to be kind of rainy in and out, cloudy. But today's supposed to be a nice day. So definitely looking forward to it. You got any plans for today?
I do. So I have to go, and I'm providing lunch for one of my AB work contracts today. So
Okay.
Gonna go there, have some fun at the brewery.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I like breweries.
I'm not a beer fan, so it doesn't. It'll be fun, but I don't drink
You're not going
beer.
to partake?
No.
Yeah, I got you.
I don't drink beer or wine.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then I'm going to, I'm doing renovations on one of my units. And so we're almost at the end of finishing that.
Okay.
So I'm going to go in, check on that, look and see if everything's pretty much ready so I can go ahead and start marketing it to get a renter in there.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that's
I'm
exciting.
excited about that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's perfect time, top of the year too. Folks are probably looking to make a change, so you should be able to definitely easily find someone to rent the unit. What are you renting it for?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
I'm contemplating. I'm thinking about it right now. I'm gonna ask an agent to kind of look and see what the
going rate is
in that area.
Okay.
Because the last time I did a rent analysis was in May.
Okay.
When I had the appraisal done on the property.
Okay.
So since then, I just kind of want to get a feel for what the rents are.
Yeah.
Now. And then, of course, now that property is fully renovated with, new everything. I got new flooring, new paint. I gutted out the bathroom.
Okay.
Pretty much took everything out of there. And everything else in there is new.
Okay.
New appliances. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you should definitely... Yeah, I definitely would look at seeing what you can get now. Mm-hmm. And you'd obviously probably want to err towards the higher amount because you're probably going to get a range of what the going rates are for.
Oh, of course.
So, yeah, I would definitely probably look at towards the higher end with all those different things that you've done to the property.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's cool.
And then outside of that, just probably go outside with the kids. My son got a bike for Christmas. So
okay.
Yeah,
cool.
I'll do that. Go outside. I know we were supposed to go out yesterday, but then my son fell asleep. So I took advantage and went and looked at venues for my daughter's birthday so we can do a birthday dinner. So
okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's what's up. So I know, like I said, for me today, we'll probably go. I know the kids were talking about going and wanting to get some ice cream. So I know that's something that we'll do is go grab some ice cream and then, like you said, probably just do something outside. Maybe go to a park. Maybe just go. Maybe even Mount Trashmore. I don't know. I think that's. A lot of people are probably going to try to go there, so I try to go to places where it's not overly crowded, but it's also, I know it's a nice day, so I know a lot of folks are going to be trying to do certain things like that, and especially with the kids being out of school. This is one of the last regular days, that the kids are out of school until they go back.
Yeah.
But speaking of that, my kids, so they've been out. This is now the second week that they've been out of school, and so it's been. I mean, they've been fine. I mean, it's been a little bit of a struggle with them being at the house. I mean. Brooke, my wife, she holds the fort down when it comes to dealing with them, and I'm kind of in and out because I'm working, throughout the week. But we got an email the other day that a pipe burst in the school, and they're going to have to be out an additional week. So yeah, they're having to obviously scramble, find contractors to fix the issue, and then that's when they'll open the school back up. So they gave a tentative date around January 9th, January 10th. So Brooke and I seen that email. We was like, man, we got a whole nother week with these jokers in the crib running around, eating up everything, and just going crazy or whatnot, and fighting each other and stuff. So we'll pray for us on that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, for sure.
My kid's been home for the last week. Well, actually, they got out last Wednesday.
Yeah, it's a week and a half. Then.
Yeah, it's been a week and a half for two of them.
Okay.
But then my baby boy, he didn't get out until Friday. And so they all been home this week, and I'm ready.
How's that been? All the rest, you got three. So.
Well, it's fine. I mean, I have an older kid, so she kind of
helps mellow everything out.
She helps out, you know, to the best of her ability. So I mean, it's fun. I got a in-home babysitter when I want. You know,
that's got to be a luxury. I can't wait till I get there, man.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. It's definitely a luxury. Because if I need to do something, I just do what I have to do.
Now, I know they cost, though. They're probably going to want to get paid when they babysit.
Exactly.
And then they also, at that age now, where they're probably, like, into different more things, so things cost more money than, like, if my son or daughter who's 4 and 2 want something. If you got a 13, 14-year-old kid, you know, their things, the shoes going to cost more, clothes going to cost more. They eat more because they're bigger, they're growing, you know. So, yeah, they into stuff.
She eat like a man. Her foot is bigger than mine.
That's what they had that movie called Think Like a Man. So she eat like a man.
She eat like a man.
Okay.
Her feet are bigger than mine, which I'm so happy because she can't wear my shoes because they're too small.
I thought that would be a good thing though. If she can wear your shoes, and that's like less shoes that you gotta like. If you buy one shoe,
she is rough on shoes.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I remember how I used to.
Absolutely not.
That's true.
And I got a lot of pair of shoes, and I got some nice ones.
Yeah.
My kids, you know, I got a good shoe game.
Okay.
That's one thing I do got.
Okay.
So. Okay. Yeah, no, I don't want her in my shoes.
I got you. So how was your Christmas? Because we haven't recorded since before Christmas. So what did you guys do during the holiday?
Man, so I'm trying to think. What do we do? Because I feel like it's been ages ago, right?
It do. Even though it was just last weekend.
It was just last weekend, but I mean, it was a blur. Yeah. So, what was it? Okay, Christmas was on Sunday, so that Christmas Eve, I pretty much cooked, and I made practically everything that you would traditionally make on Thanksgiving, because this Thanksgiving I didn't cook. We went up to my cousin's house.
Okay.
So I went ahead and cooked, and I made like fried chicken. I made like a ham. I made greens, macaroni. I made candy yams, and I made what's one more thing I made? I can't remember. Cornbread. That's what I made.
Okay. Yeah, I love cornbread.
So my kids, cornbread, yes.
Yeah.
And I always drizzle honey on top of my cornbread, so they love that.
That's a nice little touch.
Yeah. So I cooked, got that out the way, and then Christmas Eve, we always open up one gift.
Okay.
And then that's the night that we put on our Christmas pajamas.
Okay.
Take pictures and stuff like that. And then that night is actually when I wrap presents, and I put them under the tree as if Santa came.
Okay.
We put out the milk. I ain't have any cookies.
Hold on.
We did.
You said if Santa came, you mean Santa did come, right?
I mean, I hope ain't no kids listening to this, but
okay.
I am Santa.
You are Santa? You're the jolly good fella? Yes. Okay.
I am the true and one and only Santa.
Okay.
at my house.
So question. Mm-hmm. I'm going to let you get back into that, but when was it like a certain period? Because I know for myself, there was a certain time when I found out that, you know, Santa wasn't who I thought he was.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So was there a time that it actually happened, or did it ever, were you always, when you were growing up, was it always like that your parents never painted it as it was a Santa? Or
Nah. I mean, yes and no. So my household was different because you got to remember, my mom was American, my dad was Eritrean.
Correct.
So my dad, I wouldn't say he didn't celebrate Christmas, but the presents aspect of it, he used to just be like, what do you want?
Okay.
and so then when I would get it, he'd be like, here, I did the wrapping.
Like you got your own gift?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I used to wrap my own gifts, put them under the tree, and then open them up and act like I was surprised.
Oh my gosh. Jeez. Yeah, that's totally different from how I was brought up.
So it wasn't like I didn't get anything. It's just that they didn't really care to like. And the only time I remember being surprised, like ultimately surprised, was when I got like big stuff. And to me, cell phone was big because I was only in like the 4th grade. So that was.
You had a cell phone in the 4th grade?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I was young. I had the
didn't get a cell phone
Nokia. Look, I didn't even know how to work the cell phone. I used to power it all the way down and off. And it used to be like, Dad, why ain't nobody calling me?
Because your phone, you turned the whole phone off. That's crazy. I didn't get a cell phone until my senior year in high school. And you got one in the 4th grade?
Mm-hmm.
Good gosh.
Yeah, because I was I used to be out like riding my bike every.
I did too, but my parents was like,
no,
nah.
My dad was like, look, because before that we had pagers, and so it was kind of like if I was out riding, and I wouldn't be able to call until I got to somebody's house.
True.
So then they were like, here, you take this phone.
My parents did have me do that when I would go to somebody's house, ride my bike. They would have me call, let them know.
Yeah,
so,
but then you go like after that, you get there. Once everybody link up, y'all riding for the rest of the day. I mean, when's the next phone, that you're going to see? I mean, you out at the park. I mean, that was back in the day where you could leave the house and be gone for hours and parents didn't question it.
Yeah,
so,
that's true. So let me jump in there. So you never had that experience of like the whole Santa thing. So for me.
So I did. Oh, you didn't let me finish.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. My bad.
When I got my phone, when I got my computer, because my dad got me a real computer.
Okay.
Before that, when he got me a typewriter.
Okay.
All the big purchases, yes, that was all surprise.
Oh, that was all surprise. So they did the whole Santa thing, like they had like
it was like under the
when you said
tree.
surprise, I didn't know. I thought you were saying you were surprised to get the gift. I didn't know they did like the whole presentation. Of
they ain't wrap it, but it was under the tree.
Okay.
And then, but any clothes, shoes, toys, and stuff like that, I wasn't like. But by the time I got to, I don't know, second, third grade, toys wasn't really my thing. I like doing stuff outside.
Yeah.
I was let me go outside. That's all I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Go outside. Play football, play basketball.
Okay.
That was my thing. So, yeah.
Gotcha.
That's how it was for me.
So, for me, I remember, because you were like the only child growing up, kind of, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Right? Okay.
I mean, I have an older brother and an older sister.
Okay.
But they're way older than me.
Gotcha. So like at those younger times you described,
it was just me.
Just you. Okay,
yeah.
All right, cool. So that's how it was for me. I do have a younger sister, but
and it's only on my mom's side.
Gotcha.
So I'm my dad's only child. Forgot about that.
Understood. Okay. So for me, my parents did the whole Santa thing. Like they, had the cookies, had the milk. They had the letter from Santa. So it was like everything. So, but the thing that made it tricky though, is my dad was active duty military, right? Mm-hmm. And so, he was there most of the time, but there were some Christmases where he wasn't there, right? And so, I remember one year, it was because I remember my mom was pregnant with my sister. So me and my sister, I just have one sibling. We're 8 years apart. So I remember. We lived in an apartment at this time. We had just moved to Virginia. I was like I said, I was 8 years old, and my mom was like full blown pregnant with my sister, like maybe 5-6 months pregnant, right? So she was showing she was starting to struggle to do your normal stuff, right? So I remember my dad being gone. He was deployed, and the apartment that we had was those apartments. You know how as soon as you open the door, there's like steps just go straight up, and then like you're actually on. Like the living spaces upstairs on the second floor. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but we were in an apartment building where there was a first floor and a second floor, so we lived on the second floor. So as soon as you open our door, we had to go up steps, and then that's where our apartment began, like where everything was. So that Christmas, I got a bike for Christmas, right? Mm-hmm. And so I was like, oh man, like Santa hooked me up. Blase, blah, blase, blah. So I was like, and because up until that point, it was always Santa, 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 right? And so I remember, like, obviously riding that bike around the neighborhood and telling all my friends, like, hey, yeah, this is what I got from Santa at Christmas, whatever. And they were like, Santa's not real, Bryan. I was like, what? What are you talking about? They were like, yeah, your parents do that. Like, I'm like, there's no way. I'm like, my dad is, like, deployed. And my mom is full-blown pregnant. How is she at night going to sneak this big bike into the house and I don't hear anything? Like, that's impossible. And so, like, I remember we were just having this conversation or whatever. So I remember that same day, one of my buddies, his name was Michael. I ain't going to say his last name, but his name was Michael. I'll never forget it. He was one of my good friends in my first grade class. He came to the house and then, like, so we were just kind of talking or whatever, and my mom like came over into the room that we were in, and then he was like, Ms. Royster, tell Bryan that Santa Claus isn't real. And he was, I seen the look on my mom's face. She was just like, she saw a ghost, and so she tried to like play it off like, what are you talking about, blah, blah, blah. But you know your mom, you know your parents, right? So I remember after he ended up leaving, we ended up playing longer, whatever. The conversation, my mom shifted the conversation or whatever. And after the conversation, or after he left, me and my mom had a conversation, and she kind of like explained to me the whole situation or whatever. And so I was like, wow. So it wasn't like a heartbreak. I'm kind of like, dang, like, I was like, that whole figure that I thought. But I just never forgot that, because I was like, how would this happen? And then she explained to me how the bike got there and all that, because the neighbor helped her put it like in like this little shed room, like this little area that's off of we had like a little deck area. So all she had to do was like, when I went to sleep, like take it out of this deck and like put it right by the tree, And so they did that when I was at school one day and all this or whatever.
That is funny.
Yeah. So that was how I got, told that, that she was the jolly good fellow. So.
Well.
Her and my dad were.
So my oldest, I was able to, ride Santa for a long time. Like, but my oldest, she's very, I don't know. What would you call yourself believing in Santa at that age? Like, I don't know. She was just older, still believing in Santa. And I just was rolling with it. Now my 7-year-old, she knew it wasn't no Santa like 2 years ago.
Okay, so when she was like 5, 4, 5.
She started questioning like,
yeah.
So you telling me like she was the kid that was like, so Ma, you telling me that you about to let this man in your house? She was just so
okay, yeah.
She was just, so then what I had to do was
kids now aren't as I ain't gonna say like they're innocent still because they're kids, but like I think there was a lot more naiveness of our age growing up. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It was just like whatever you were told, you just went with. You didn't question really anything. But now you're right. I think it's like the internet, social media. It's just a lot more going on, a lot more being thrown at them, and there's a lot more questions that are now being asked because of that. I think it was just a little bit like whatever you had, whatever you gave to your kids, that's all they knew. You know what I'm saying? Like it, that's funny.
So then I somehow was able to convince her that there was a Santa, but some of the gifts come from me. So now when I label gifts, I have to label some from Santa, but the majority of them from us. So then she can understand, like, okay, Santa, because what happened was she made a list. Mm-hmm. And my 7-year-old, she's real smart. She's been able to read and write for a while now. So she made this list. And she kept the list. And she gave it to me and somehow took it back. Because I had probably set it down or something like that. Uh-huh. So then when Christmas came, she was like, Santa's not real because he didn't even get me what's on the list. You see all the things on the list? He only got one thing off the list. He's not real type of thing.
Oh, wow.
And so I was like, well, Santa doesn't get everything. He only gets some things. Yeah. And so I had to play it off. But she's something different. Yeah.
So she's
on a whole nother level in her own. She's so smart, I call her a robot.
So I had to, like I said, I was told at the age 8, but then my parents, they still played Santa for my sister. So then you got to think about it. Like you said, like the clock started all over again. So like when my sister was born, she was coming up. She's 3, 4, and 5 years old. At this time, I'm 11, 12, 13. I'm knowing what it is, but we had to kind of like I had to play into the whole thing, you know what I'm saying? So
she helped me wrap gifts.
Yeah, I used to help with stuff too, you know what I'm saying? But then I could only help but so much because like my sister looked like she was like, "Oh, Bryan, let's go to sleep, let's do this." So it was just like, so I had to like do that whole process with her still, you know what I'm saying? Like as far as like the anticipation of what's gonna, and all that.
We did the same thing. So everybody went to their rooms like they would on a normal night and go to sleep. But then my daughter came out and came into my room and we just had the doors closed. Gotcha. So she didn't even know that the oldest had left the room.
Gotcha.
She didn't even have a clue.
Gotcha.
And then my son, he primarily sleeps with me, so I let him fall asleep in my bed. Then I carried him over to my daughter's room. Okay. And then I brought him back once we got through wrapping everything so he could wake up like normal, because he would have woke up like, why am I in here? Yeah. So,
but let's get back to what you did for the holiday. I know we kind of went over a different direction.
Yeah. So cooked, like I said, that night. We opened up a gift, did pictures, did Christmas pajamas, and then my kids, they were some OGs. They didn't wake up till like almost 8 o'clock in the morning on Christmas Day. So we got up, even later than anticipated, because I thought they were going to get up real early. Okay. They did not. So then we woke up, opened up gifts, and then pretty much just played with the gifts all day. Okay. Yeah, pretty much. That's all. Just putting them together. Yeah. I didn't have batteries for everything, so I think the day after Christmas.
That's always the one thing that people forget, man, is batteries. Yeah, I've had that happen to me.
So I had to go get batteries, which was hectic because I couldn't find any.
Yeah, people hit those quick.
But I ended up finding them last minute. But yeah, that's all I did for Christmas, and then just now I'm trying to clean.
Okay.
And get ready for New Year's. Take all my stuff down.
Okay.
Before New Year's.
Okay. Cool.
What did y'all end up doing?
That week, earlier in the week of Christmas, we took the kids. There was like a cookies and milk thing that you could do with Santa, because we're still into that, letting the kids believe Santa is going on right now. So that was pretty cool. It was I think it was Tuesday night. That Tuesday, we went up to the Founders Inn. And they had like Santa like talk to the kids, and it was probably like maybe 40, 50 families there. It was a lot of people. And you're supposed to bring your own blanket. The kids dress up in their pajamas, and so we sit there and listen to Santa kind of talk about stuff. And then at the end, you get to take pictures with Santa. So that was pretty cool. And like I said, they gave us like cookies and milk for
How did you find this?
Man, Brooke. So she's literally, when it comes to like anything to try to like get out and do for the kids, like she's on it. Like there was a list that she showed me of like 30 to 40 things that were going on in Hampton Roads, and we were like, let's try to find one that the kids would like to do that was close to kind of where we lived, and this was like perfect. But it was, anytime there's like stuff that's like hot Christmas, Thanksgiving stuff, like she's always looking at trying to find outside things to put the kids in, and so that's what she found. But it was cool. We ended up telling my boy Sherm, one of my neighbors, so him and his wife and daughter, because they have a young daughter that's the same age as my son. She's about to be 4. She's 3, getting ready to turn 4. They came as well, so we kind of was able to kind of chop it up with them during the during the whole festivities part. So that was cool. The Friday, that weekend of Christmas, the same person I mentioned to you, my boy Sherm, his he normally has a Christmas party at his house, like an adult Christmas party. So and my other buddy Shao, who lives in our neighborhood, his daughters typically, and Sherman's daughters, because they have teenage daughters and actually college daughters, adult daughters, that watch the kids. Yeah, they watch the kids. So like they basically will either have them camp out at either our house or at Shalimar's house, and so it was like 8 of them all watching the younger kids. We ordered, had pizzas for them and all that or whatever, and then we ended up. We ended up having the Christmas party. That was cool. Like, it's always a good time going to Sherm's house. They have his wife. She's an AKA, and so she has like sometimes her sorority girl friends come with their husbands, and so the guys will chop it up and kind of kick it in the back, and the girls, they'll sit there and chop it up, and we have drinks and food and everything. So that was pretty cool. That Friday, the sucky part about it though is I'm not sure if it was there or before there. Brooke, she started not feeling good on Christmas Eve, and so we think it's like food poisoning, because we had some pizza that night. So I'm thinking that she came down with some type of food poison or a virus, from what we had that previous day, or just being around people. I don't know, what I'm saying? But she wasn't feeling good Christmas Eve, and so Christmas Eve this year we went to my parents' house. So they had a whole bunch of food. My mom makes her world famous lasagna on Christmas pretty much every single year, so she made a big thing of it. We had like other food, like kind of like a potluck style, like lumpia, pancit, chicken, just all, just a whole bunch of the normal food that people normally like to eat or whatever around the holiday time frame. So we was at my parents' house on Saturday, which was Christmas Eve. Came home, like I said, Brooke wasn't feeling too well, and then we did the next morning. Obviously, it was Christmas Day, so we did the whole, gifts under the tree, and the kids loved it. And then we start putting gifts together, and around early that day, I started not feeling good. So I think whatever Brooke came down with, I came down with on Christmas Day. So I kind of laid down and kind of relaxed most of Christmas, on Christmas Day or whatnot. So it was cool though. It was all about the kids. The kids got a whole bunch of great gifts. We said we were gonna just buy 3 gifts for each child. Because we knew how the grandparents and aunts and uncles and everybody spoiled the kids, and they were spoiled. They got a whole bunch of stuff. It was cool. Stuff that I'm still putting together and, still playing with them, as well. So it was cool. Christmas was really, other than not feeling great on Christmas Day, Christmas was really good this year.
Nice. I forgot that I did go to a ball, too.
Okay.
I can't remember. It was a because when you said AKA, it reminded me of the women who were skiing in the party.
Yeah, ski. Yeah.
So we had to get dressed up and we went to a ball. It was the Black and Gold fraternity.
Okay.
I mean, what is it? What the guys call it? Is it fraternity, right?
Yeah, you're probably talking about alphas. Alpha.
I think
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, alphas, kappas, Qs. There's a couple of other ones as well. Those are like the main ones that I hear. But I think you're talking about alpha. Alphas wear black. Yeah, they're the ones that got black.
Yeah. So we went there. It was in downtown Norfolk. It was real nice.
Okay.
Real nice event. It was like a ball. Like you had to dress up.
Yeah. Those are always good times.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. And then I finished my 15-day challenge.
Okay. That's right. I remember you saying that you
2 days. What was it? 2 days after? No, the day after Christmas was day 15.
Okay.
No, 2 days after Christmas was day 15. So.
Did you really do it like 15 days?
I did.
Okay.
I did 15 days straight. I even worked out on Christmas. I went for.
You worked out on Christmas too?
I did. I went and.
Because it ended after Christmas. Then you said.
Yeah, it ended after Christmas. So on Christmas, I actually went for a walk, a 40-minute walk.
Okay.
Because I obligated myself to do at least a 30-minute exercise per day. So on Christmas, I went to the gym Christmas Eve that morning.
Wow.
Because the
That's
gym
dedication.
was open.
Yeah.
And then on Christmas, after, things settled down, I went like once actually the sun came down. Mm-hmm. And I did like a 40-minute walk in my neighborhood. And then, of course, I continued. I've actually worked out every day, even after that, except for 2 days. I didn't go to the gym. So, yeah.
That's what's up.
And I'm down officially as of this morning. And when I weighed in, it's almost down to the ounce, 9 pounds.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
In 15 days? That's almost a pound a day then. That's good. So it's almost a pound a day, like as far as 9 days, 9 pounds, 15 days. Would you okay.
No.
No. Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah. So I was, I'm excited about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Keep it going. Hopefully, it'll keep trickling off.
Are you gonna continue to go every day, or are you gonna
me eating? I did not eat good on Christmas or the day before Christmas. I ate my Christmas food that I cooked, but I continued to work out, and then after Christmas, got back into the routine. So I probably could have lost a little bit more, maybe a pound or two more, if I hadn't ate that fried chicken.
Fried chicken. It's calling your name, won't it?
It was. It was smelling good while I was cooking it too.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. So are you planning to still go every day, or are you gonna try to like just break it up maybe a couple times a week?
No, I'm not gonna go every day, but I am gonna make it an effort to go as often as possible. Do something, you know what I mean? Like if I don't go to the gym, maybe like go for that 40-minute walk in my neighborhood or something like that. Like
that's cool.
I want to be active and try to increase or boost my metabolism.
Yeah, because unfortunately with our job, there's no manual labor, so we sit down a lot or stand up, depending on, if you have like, the desk where you can stand up or whatnot. But we're just, we're not mobile while we're working, so we don't kind of get to burn calories and, and do that while we're working, for real. So we have to actually be intentional about that. So I'm glad to hear that you're doing that. That's cool. That's cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I've been pretty steady. Really, honestly, for the last year and a half, because I gained some weight during the pandemic. I'm pretty sure most folks out there did as well when everyone was kind of locked into the house, couldn't go to the gym. Maybe they did some stuff at home. They were on top of it, but I was kind of lazy with it. I had a treadmill, so I would do some running, here and there. But, I mean, that wasn't it wasn't keeping up with what I was putting in my body. You know what I'm saying? So, I've been pretty consistent with it. So I'm trying to continue to do my workout thing as well. And I like it. I mean, you feel good. When you feel good, what was the line that Dion said? He said, when you feel good, you look good, you play good. You know what I mean? So, I think that can also be said for, like, the work environment. If you look good, you feel good, you'll perform good, perform well in your work environment. So that's cool. Yeah,
it's coming along.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it, but it's about my mindset. My mindset is like, get your butt up.
Yeah.
And go do something.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Speaking of, too, right before the holiday, I want to give a shout out to the World Cup this year. I think it was in Qatar. And the final was the whole World Cup was good. It was filled with a whole bunch of upsets. And the World Cup, obviously, if folks don't know, it's the biggest soccer tournament in the world. They have it every 4 years. It's almost like the Olympics for soccer. or for football, right? That's what they call it. But this year,
there's a joke about the World Cup and the Best Man holiday. That's pretty funny too.
Oh, it is? Okay. I haven't checked that out, so I got to check that out. But
what? You haven't checked out the Best Man holiday?
Nah, I haven't. It's on my radar though. I'm gonna check it out. Like I said, now with the kids home, man, and stuff, like it's difficult to watch things. And in the evening time, it's so much football that's been coming on because of this year, the bowls games that are going on now. I haven't been able to check it out, but I'm gonna definitely check it out here the next week or so. But
that's an African American classic.
It is. Oh, it is.
Take your black card in a minute.
Nah, you can't do that. I know all the movies, man. Classic lines, all of that. I'm just saying I ain't got to it yet, man. I'm just adulting right now. So, but nah, the World Cup it was really, really good. The championship, the final had France versus Argentina, and it was really good match, man. I mean, Argentina jumped out early. My guy Lionel Messi, he's my favorite soccer player of all time. He came out there, played very well. And then Kylian Mbappe, he's a brother, France, young guy, he's 23 years old. My man scored 3 goals. Like, he went crazy and brought France back, and then they went to penalty kicks at the very end, and the goalie for Argentina stepped up, made a couple of saves, and Argentina ended up winning, and then it was crazy. I mean, there's a lot more that happened in it.
Is 3 a lot? Like...
Yes, it's about average, I would say. Well, 3 goals by one person in a match. That is a lot. Yeah,
okay,
Typically, you'll be good if you get 1 goal in a match of one person. You know what I'm saying? So to get 3, they call it a hat trick. So to get 3, that was very, very impressive, especially with them being down and it being needed. Sometimes when you're blowing a team out, somebody may get 3 goals just because they're so superior than the other team. There's not much resistance there, but for someone in a position that they were in when they were down and they needed their star player, which he is, to step up, I mean, he came out and did it, man. And it was impressive, man. I was literally on the edge. Like, the game came on at 9 and it ended like 12:30. For 3 hours, I was glued to the TV watching it because it was very good action, and it was cool. It was cool. My son was watching it with me too, so that was pretty cool, and he likes soccer, so. Just wanted to give a shout out to the World Cup. That was it was really, really, really one of the best final I've ever seen. And like I said, it only happens once every 4 years. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, I didn't watch it. My daughter did, but me, I didn't watch it. That's not my thing.
Gotcha.
She was into it too. She told me she used to watch it like during her like 6th period or something like that.
Okay, during school.
Yeah, she would turn it on her computer because nowadays. You carry a laptop in school, and that's kind of like what you would. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I wish it was like it didn't get like it wasn't like that till like I was at college. Yeah, and they're like that in middle school. This is crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. You think about it.
Yeah, very. Yeah. She's getting ready. Actually, we'll be getting ready to do her testing for high school to get into these different programs soon. Okay. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, that is exciting.
Can't wait to see what.
Because she starts high school next year, next school year. Okay, yep. That's cool. Yep. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. Yeah.
I know. I got a high schooler.
Yeah.
And I'm still 21. Look at that.
21? Whoa. What is it? The math ain't mathing on that one. Jeez. Whoa. Whoa.
That's a miracle right there.
Yeah, that's what you want to call it? Okay. Jeez.
Oh, man. So... I know that in the news there were some things that happened. Did you see what happened with the Tory Lanez trial and Meg Thee Stallion?
Yeah, I did. So I hadn't followed it, like really been looking and trying to daily see what was going on. But what I've been hearing, just because like you said, when you scroll through like social media
did you talk to your sister about it?
I didn't. No, I didn't.
She's a whole attorney.
I know.
You didn't get her insight on it?
Well, my sister, man, she not really, I don't even think she probably know who them people are.
I mean, it doesn't matter about knowing. It's the fact that, the attorney,
True. That's true.
That's just true. What is it called? Judicial part of it?
Yeah. That's true. I didn't even think about bringing it up to her. At all, honestly, because I just know myself. I don't even think she knows who those folks are. So,
I barely know who Tory Lanez is. I know Meg. But,
yeah. I know both of them because of their music. But yeah, I did see the trial. I guess you can say, as far as it looked like from all the people that I saw talking about it looked like Tory Lanez was gonna be found innocent. And I know the verdict came out, I think it was right on Christmas Eve or the day before Christmas Eve.
Yeah, it was like 2 days before
Yeah,
Christmas.
yeah. It was right around Christmas. I know that for a fact. And he was found guilty on all charges.
Yeah.
Which kind of, I guess, based on the information that I had heard from people talking about it, it was kind of a surprise to me because it seemed like it was just like a whole bunch of buffoonery. One person, they got 3 or 4 people saying totally different stories and they in the same exact vicinity. So it seemed like there just was some reasonable doubt there. So I was kind of surprised by that. But I also did hear this morning, I don't know if you heard, because I literally heard it this morning when I was in the gym. I was kind of scrolling on Instagram. I guess they leaked Tory Lanez's conversation, that he had with the girl.
I watched that this morning too.
Oh, you did? Okay. And so to
The
me,
jail
that was
call.
when he was on the jail phone. So to me, that joint, that was pretty incriminating because I felt like I remember when them talking about him saying that call was because he was talking about he was messing with both girls or something like that. So that's what he was talking about, like he's sorry for.
Yeah.
But this call, I guess, the one I heard, that one what he was talking about. I mean,
but
he
didn't say
he
what
didn't specifically say that, but he said,
he
man,
could have been sorry for a whole lot though. He could have been.
He
sorry
said he was super drunk,
yeah,
and he was just talking about like I don't know. For me, you're right. Again, he didn't black and white say, "Hey, this is what it was."
He could have been sorry for hitting.
So it is it is circumstantial information, but to me, as a man, like that to me. That conversation I heard sounded like he did something like what he's being on trial for, and he was really sorry because he understood what he did was really, really wrong.
Yeah,
and
we
so,
just don't know what he did. You know what I mean?
Correct.
That's the only thing. So
correct. So that
of
part.
Of course, we weren't in the courtroom, so it's kind of like
exactly
all this stuff is leaked, but you could literally take snippets of what people say and make it sound like whatever
narrative you wanted to say. 100%.
So,
yeah. No, I agree with you. So to answer your question, I didn't keep up with it, but then once, like I heard people talking about it because it was such a buzz topic. But then I did see the guilty verdict, and then like I said this morning, I did see or listen because they posted it. And it was like, I got alerts and all that stuff for it. And I listened to it this morning. I was like, oh, well, yeah. I mean, if the juries did hear this, I mean, I can understand why they felt the way that they felt. You know what I'm saying? So because I love a show that we watch in my house a lot is Dateline. Dateline is like one of my favorite shows to watch on NBC. And it just goes over like different, there's different things that happen, domestic wise or just in whatever. And it goes over the trial and it goes over like the findings and, the different evidence that was found. And a lot of times, sometimes they don't have exactly everything, but they have a lot of the, pieces that line up to say, hey, I mean, this, this person probably did this or whatever. So I like to kind of piece it together. In my mind, I'm always like, okay, if I was a juror, what would I say in that situation? Would I say guilty or innocent? And then once you find out what it is, I'm like, okay, I was pretty much thinking what they thought or whatever. Obviously, it's a small, condensed version of the information, but, it's always pretty cool. I wouldn't say
now,
cool.
I must say that at least with the what I found or what I saw with the Tory Lanez trial was that they did not find any gun residue on him at all whatsoever. Yeah. So I don't know how you can shoot someone and not have no residue on you at all. I that part I didn't understand. Yeah. So that I just wanted to say that because I was very confused as to how he shot her, and I would like to know a little bit more about that. Because I'm pretty sure there's a lot missing in that statement. Yeah. There must have been some type of, but this was here or. This is what we saw in addition to that made them come up with that conclusion. Correct. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, you guys know what we did in the past 2 weeks. Christmas was definitely fun-filled. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, definitely.
But now it's time for Exercise Your Knowledge. So for anybody who's been listening to our podcast, we always like to test your knowledge or exercise your knowledge. What we do is we ask you a question at the beginning of the segment, and then towards the end of the segment, we'll reveal the answer. But as we continue to talk, we want you to think about the answer to the question, see if you kind of know the answer, keep it at the back of your mind, and then once we reveal the answer, just kind of double check your knowledge and make sure that you are on the same page with the answer and that you understand what the answer is. So today's exercise your knowledge question is, when the lender calculates your debt to income ratio, do we also consider your utility bills like your electric, your gas, your cell phone, and things like that?
It's a good question. It's a real good question. I normally kind of mess it up sometimes when I start thinking, or not thinking, but talking. But yeah, now that's a really, really good question. We'll definitely be able to expound upon that at the end. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So this year we have talked since we've started. We started back in July. July 28th was our very first episode of 2022. And we've gone over quite a few topics. And so this is kind of like the extended version of Exercise Your Knowledge, because we want to go through some of those topics that we discussed all year long and just kind of see if you guys remember, the answer to these questions. They're all mortgage related for the most part. But we want to go through them and kind of just touch on them to kind of jog your memory if you did happen to forget the answers. But the first topic in our very first episode, that was back when, the rates had pretty much gotten into an all-time high.
Yeah.
And we were on the verge of thinking, well, is it a recession?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so we wanted to pretty much kind of define what a recession is. And so back then we revealed the answer, right?
Yeah, yeah. So remember, recession is when you have 2 quarters where there's no GDP growth. So that's gross domestic product. So they look at things in a quarterly basis when it comes to the growth of the economy. And if there's 2 consecutive quarters where that does not happen, that is the definition of a recession. And so that's what happened actually right around that time when we started the podcast. And so that was a heavy topic that was being spoken about. It hadn't really been spoken about as much recently, but we're in a recession. Some folks want to admit it. Some folks don't want to admit it. All the indications are there. All the signs are there.
Except for the unemployment.
Yeah, except for the unemployment numbers.
It's the high inflation.
Correct.
You're supposed to have high inflation, high unemployment rates, and what's the third one? Job. Dang, I forgot the third one. Yeah, there's another one.
Yeah.
Let me see. I have to go back and look at my notes, but
yeah,
there's 3. And because the unemployment rates are not as high as,
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong, though.
Be.
The recession that we're in, I mean, it is kind of self-imposed, though. I will say that. I mean, I don't want it to think. That's why it's kind of like a weird space we're in, where it's not like a true, everything's just kind of not doing well. It's kind of something that's being forced to kind of fix some of the other issues that we have going on. So it's cool. I mean,
that's correct. We'll come back to that another time.
We'll come back to that.
Yeah. So then we also talked about the highs and lows of being a landlord. And boy, I can attest to this one. So this year I bought my first duplex. And the highs are the income, obviously, right? You got to admit that there's nothing like making money on something, residually, right? I don't have to really think about it every month. Passive income, it comes to me. I don't have to think about it too much. I pay my mortgage and I take a profit. Now, the low is the type of tenants that you have. I've had one of my tenants tell me, hey, I got into my cousin, auntie, baby's daddy's sister, and they had a key to my house, and now I need to rekey. No. You can rekey, obviously. I mean, I'm not going to stop you, but you're going to use my locksmith, and you have to assume the fee. Because we don't rekey just because you feel like it's a sunny day in June. Because you got beef in the streets. It with your auntie. What they say on Friday? Was it Friday?
What?
My auntie, baby daddy, sister, cousin told me.
Yeah. It went down the hall. I was trying to keep up with who they. I'm sitting there trying to think. Okay,
remember the girl with the braids?
Yeah.
She got off the car.
Yeah. That's the first joint. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, Smokey was like, "What is going on?" This ain't what I signed up for.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I remember that.
So Yeah, that's to me, one of the things. Where
That's key, man.
I will say this: it can get a little irritating because it's like, come on now, you really calling me to tell me you got into it with your cousin?
It can. I'll say this: luckily, all the properties that we have, I haven't had. There's one tenant in the duplex that we have, which I know you said you have a duplex, so it's, I guess it maybe just be a duplex thing, a multi-unit thing. One tenant they have, he's funny. Like he has a certain way about going how he want to do his thing. So I kind of just know how to deal with him. So I just kind of got used to it, right? But outside of that, I mean, the tenants that we have, I mean, we do a very good, thorough. I mean, you never know, but we do a good, thorough upfront check on them. And all of them we've had have been long-lasting tenants. You know what I mean? Because there's even times where, like right now, I could be charging a lot more money than not a lot, but I can be charging more money than what I'm charging them to rent. But for me, the trade-off is like, hey, I never hear from them unless there's like something that's like, the HVAC's not working, some major issue, and I could send somebody out to fix it. But I don't want to hear like stuff like that. I don't want to have those phone calls, those text messages. Yeah. So for me, hey, I could charge this person, $1,200 a month, but maybe I charge them $1,150. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe like each year instead of going up, $100 or $50, maybe this year I won't go up, or I'll just go up $50 instead of $100 because I see the value in the relationship that we have. You know what I mean? And I think that sometimes you got to kind of look at it like that. I mean, again, it is business, but I've seen the return in doing and operating like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, yeah. So, following up with that, we talked about the difference between a down payment and closing costs.
Yeah.
I hope you guys remember that one because that's important, especially if doesn't matter if you're a first-time home buyer, if you purchased a home 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 months ago.
Yeah.
I hope that you know the difference between your down payment and your closing costs.
Yeah. It's important to know that, your down payment obviously is the money that you're putting down to acquire that mortgage or that loan. Mm-hmm. So if you're buying a home at a certain price, you're putting money down that's going to be subtracted from the sales price, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're buying a house at $300,000, you're putting down $10,000, your loan is going to start at $290. In most cases, there's some other scenarios that we've talked about before that has your loan start at a different number, but your down payment is money you're putting down on that sales price to purchase that home, and your closing costs are just the costs that are associated with the seller, transferring that home to you and all the different, things that have to happen, for that to happen. So those are the two differences when it comes to down payment and closing costs.
That's correct.
Yeah.
The next thing we talked about was the gift of equity.
Yeah.
So if you're purchasing a property from someone in your family and you don't quite have the money for a down payment and they have equity in the property, they can pretty much take the equity that they have and gift it to you as a down payment.
Yeah.
To reduce what? That MI.
Yeah,
right?
That mortgage insurance. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So you can definitely get a gift of equity if you're looking to purchase a home from a family member. So the next topic we talked about was what is mortgage insurance? Look at that.
Yeah, led right into it. Yeah. So mortgage insurance, is obviously that's the money that is being charged to you if you're not putting down 20%, right? Mm-hmm. And that's for your non-VA loans, that we're speaking of. So if you're purchasing a home and you don't put down 20%, in most cases, the lending institution or the financial institution is going to charge mortgage insurance because they feel like, hey, once you've put down 20%, you have enough skin in the game where we feel secure about the loan moving forward. If you put down less than 20%, then there's a little bit more of a risk that lending institution is taking on versus you. Mm-hmm. And so therefore there's insurance that they charge. And it's not to your benefit. It's not insurance that protects the home if something were to happen. That's homeowners insurance. I know a lot of times they get confused, but mortgage insurance is just protecting the monies that the lending institution is lending out, for their investment into you and investing into the situation of that purchase for the home that you're buying.
Yes. Yeah. So it's important to know what that mortgage insurance is.
Absolutely.
And the gift of equity that you can get to eliminate that mortgage insurance.
Correct.
So the next thing we talked about was the monthly payment and what's included in the monthly payment. So always remember PITI.
Yeah.
That's your principal interest. That's what the lender controls. Yep. Then there's your taxes and insurance. Taxes come from the city. Insurance comes from the insurance company of your choice. And then a couple additional payments that you could potentially pay is like your flood insurance or your homeowners association fee.
Yeah, or condo fee if it's a condo
fees.
as well.
Yeah. So those are different things that you could pay towards for your house, for your new home. But for the most part, you're paying your PITI.
Yeah.
So then we talked about the adjustable rate versus the fixed rate.
Yeah. Yeah. So adjustable rate is, when you have a term, a certain smaller term than the full 30-year, that after that immediate term expires, then the rate can adjust to whatever the market is at that time, right? So most folks, when they're buying a home, the standard term is a 30-year loan. And so, they'll have, if they're in a fixed rate, they'll have a rate for the full 30-year term. But if they're in an adjustable rate mortgage, typically it's like a 3 or 5 or 7 or 10-year time frame where the mortgage will be, or the rate, will be at a lower than what the market rate is. But then what happens is after that time frame, it adjusts to whatever the market is. So sometimes there's payment shock there. So there's a little bit more risk involved when it comes to that. So most folks do get a fixed rate, right? Because there's a lot more security. You know what it is. You know what to expect each month versus for a short period of time, maybe taking advantage of having a little bit lower of a payment than what you would have at a fixed rate. But then once it adjusts, it could go, way higher than what it was before, or it could go lower. Like I said, it's just a numbers game. Depends on where the market is at that time. But that's the difference between an ARM and a fixed rate.
Then we went on to discuss the difference between an appraisal and a home inspection. So the appraisal is when the lender sends out someone to determine the value of the property.
Yeah.
Okay. They're going to also make sure that there's a home there and it's deemed livable.
Yeah.
The home inspector, however, is going to go in and take a look at some of your major appliances. They're going to make sure that things are working properly in the home. They may go as far as, doing observation of the roof and letting you know, all the little things that could potentially go wrong.
Yeah.
Not that, your home's about to fall apart, but they're just making you aware. So you know what you're walking into.
Correct.
And the appraisal is required by the lender. Home inspector is just highly recommended.
Correct.
So after we talked about the appraisal and the home inspection, that led us into the VA home loan and how many times you can use your VA home loan. Yeah. So that was I remember a good topic that we discussed, especially here in this area. Like we mentioned, there's a lot of military folks, big military presence here in the Hampton Roads area, and that's something that I think is misunderstood, is that you can actually use your VA home loan more than once. A lot of folks that I know that I've spoken to, they normally say, hey, well, it's my first time buying a home. Even though I have that VA benefit, I'm going to wait and use it until I'm willing to settle down and have a family and have that forever home is the term that I hear a lot. But, there's ways to actually utilize your VA home loan with your first purchase. Yeah. And you can use it multiple times depending upon how much entitlement you have. And it's different ways that you can definitely utilize the VA home benefit, and it doesn't have to just be for your forever home. Yep. So then that led us into, okay, well, do you need excellent credit to buy a home? So technically, no, you don't need excellent credit. Excellent credit is for someone who has a credit score of 720 and higher?
Yeah, I would say 720, 740.
Yeah. That would be considered excellent credit, and you can actually purchase a home with as little as a 600 credit score. And we may be able to make an exception for 580 depending on, what's on your credit report. So you don't need excellent credit to buy a new home.
That's correct. Now, you understand, though, if your credit, obviously what drives interest rates is credit, though. So
that's very true.
Want to make sure that you understand that, obviously, you're not playing in the same,
same
arena.
box.
Yeah, same arena. As like if you have a 740 credit score and someone has a 600 credit score, you can buy a home at the same price point, but your payment's going to be different because the interest rate for the person at 740 is going to be substantially better than the person at 600. So you're going to have to obviously pay for, not having such a strong credit score, but it doesn't disqualify you from being able to still acquire that home and purchase that home.
That's correct. Yeah. That's correct. And then hopefully, when you purchase the home, it may boost your credit. So then later you could refinance.
That's a good point.
So that's something that you can also think about, because I know that when I purchased my home, my very first home, for the very first time, it boosted my credit tremendously.
That's good. That's good.
So, as we talked about credit, that led us into how long, when we pull credit for you and we figure out what your credit scores are, how long does the credit report last?
Yeah, so the credit report typically lasts 90 to 120 days, typically 120 days, just depending on the loan product. But it does, allow a substantial amount of time to, to happen, right? So I know a lot of times folks, when they apply, they think, hey, does that mean I have to go ahead and buy the home right now? Or does that mean that I'll have my credit pulled again in the next 30 days? And that's actually not the case. Really, as long as you, complete that purchase within that 120-day time frame, then we don't have to pull your credit again. Now, obviously, that doesn't disqualify you from not opening up new accounts and doing that thing while you're going through the home buying process, because that could change your debt to income. It could change the numbers. So we do encourage folks, do not do that. But as far as how many times that your credit needs to be pulled or how long your credit report lasts, it's 4 months.
Yeah. Yep. And so once we're looking at how long that lasts, we also, let's say you close on a property. And like I said in the example earlier, if you close on a property and you see that your credit score is significantly increased, we asked, well, how long after a purchase can you refinance?
Yeah.
So
it takes typically in most cases 6 months. Yeah, 6 months, man. So
I think the VA loan is like 6 payments, which is
correct. It's close to 6 months.
Yeah. Close to 6 months. So.
Yeah, it's close to 6 months. But in most cases, depending on your loan type, 6 months is kind of the number or the time frame that has to elapse before you can refinance. And it's funny. That's not a very long time when you think about it, right?
No.
Because, once you move in and you get settled and all that, that normally takes...
Some people not even you don't even finish unpacking in 6 months in most cases.
Yeah.
there's always a lingering box or 2 or 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And so...
And then you got furniture, and then you're trying to think about what you want to buy and put in certain places, and next thing you know, 6 months has already happened.
Yep.
So, 6 months is not a very long time.
It's not.
Especially... in this market, I'm having a lot of those conversations with folks that are having to purchase now in this higher rate environment. We're saying, hey, you got to purchase. Let's go ahead and do it. And then what we'll do is we'll keep looking at rates because, by the summertime, you have the opportunity at that time now to refinance if it makes sense. 6 months is not a very long time.
All right, and then we kept it going.
Yeah.
We kept rolling with credit.
Yeah, man, we giving all the information and the juice to these folks, man. I hope they're tapping in and listening. Definitely.
So then that led us into, okay, well, when we're pulling credit, what's the difference between a hard pull and a soft pull?
Yeah.
And so a hard inquiry is what we use to determine your pre-approval for your mortgage. So we're taking a look at all 3 credit bureaus, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. A soft pull is almost like... it gives us a snippet of what your credit is. It's not going to give us all 3 scores. It's not going to be a hard pull in your credit. It tends to be somewhat accurate, right? Mm-hmm. But of course, we can't issue a pre-approval with that soft pull.
That's correct. That's correct. Yeah.
Yep. So then we started to talk about, okay, well, now that we kind of fully covered credit. we felt like you guys should have a good understanding as to what credit is, how it works, how good or bad it needs to be. Then we wanted to kind of talk about the difference between what a line of credit is and a loan. And so I do remember this conversation because
I was tripping. I'm gonna go ahead and let you answer this one because I was going down this path over here. I wasn't on topic at all, and you had to correct me. So I'm gonna go ahead. I learned my lesson. You go ahead. What's the difference, Sophia?
All right. So a line of credit is going to be something that's open-ended. So it's going to be very similar to like your credit card, something that where they give you a limit, you spend, you pay back, and then it opens back up for you to use again. A loan is going to be something like an auto loan or a mortgage. It has a set term, and once you're finished, it's closed out. And if you want to borrow new funds, you have to reapply. So that's the difference between the line of credit and a loan. So you think of the line of credit being open because it's always revolving. And then a loan is closed-ended because once it's done, you're done paying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got that down now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, you had it down that day, but it was just, I don't know. Where were you at? Yeah, you wasn't in this room when we were talking about it. Your mind was somewhere else.
Yeah, I was. I definitely was.
So then after that, I mean, we wanted to talk about your interest rate and what the difference between your interest rate and the APR was.
Yeah. So interest rate obviously is the rate that the financial institution or lending institution is charging on the monies that they're lending you, right? So
based on your credit score.
Based on your credit score, right? And also the market as well. The market drives where interest rates are as well. So, that's normally a fixed number. It's a number. And like I said, it's normally fixed, in most cases, unless you're choosing to be a little bit more riskier and get an ARM or an adjustable rate. But yeah, the interest rate is strictly the rate on the money that is being lent to you. Now, the APR is the annual percentage rate. So that's going to factor in all of the costs that are associated with you buying the home. So, if you got to get an appraisal done, right? As we talked about.
Funding fee.
Yeah, their funding fee, their origination charge as well for the lending institution to charge, to actually do the loan, right? Discount points, if there's any discount points that are involved in that situation. So all those fees that are associated with you purchasing that home, those are taken into consideration when it comes to figuring out what your APR is. And so that's why you'll typically see the APR be a little bit higher than the actual interest rate itself. And the interest rate, honestly, is the more important number to pay attention to.
Correct. Because
that's going to be what you're going to pay over time. Now, APR is important, too, because that's going to tell you, depending upon how far the interest rate and APR are from each other, that's going to tell you how much fees are being charged. And you typically don't want to, be over a full point when it comes to where your interest rate is to your APR. If it's somewhere in between that, then, most cases, there's not any extra junk fees that are being thrown in there. But that's the main difference between the interest rate and the APR.
Yeah. All right. So after we talked about the interest rate and the APR, we wanted to kind of ask you guys, hey, are you required to use a certain lender? Are you required to use a certain real estate agent, a certain closing attorney or title company, certain insurance company? And we revealed that answer. And the answer was no. You actually get to shop lenders. You get to shop agents. You get to pick out your title company. You get to pick out your closing attorney. You get to pick out your insurance company. Now, you have to be careful because with a real estate agent, they do have disclosures where you can agree to use them for a certain time frame. And then, of course, after you've chosen your lender and you've ordered your appraisal and done those things, you kind of probably want to stick with them so you don't have to repay for different fees. Because if you bought the appraisal with, let's say, ABC Bank and you decide to switch to XYZ Bank, sometimes that appraisal is not transferable. So it's kind of wise to kind of make your decision of what lender you want to go to or move forward with once you've actually had that appraisal ordered. But you can shop and decide who you want to use earlier in the process.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So after that, we talked about the utilization of rental income.
Yeah, and that was a big topic. That was one of our more recent podcasts that we did, our episodes, utilizing rental income. And that's something that's huge, especially for folks that are looking to, continue to purchase homes and not just, have one home. Maybe they want to buy a second or third or fourth home. You can utilize rental income if that's what you're planning to do to offset the mortgage that if you're getting a mortgage on that home that you're purchasing, so you're able to buy and have multiple homes, right? Because sometimes you may not be able to qualify because we look at your debt to income, right? So you may not be able to qualify having 4 or 5 or 6 different mortgages against your name, right? Because we have to factor each mortgage payment because that's something that you're obligated to pay back over time. But if you have if you're getting rental income for each one of those properties, that can offset that mortgage payment, and we can utilize that. So now, you may be in a situation where those mortgage payments are totally offset by the rental income, and so you're able to continue to buy more and more and more. So that's huge. That's a huge thing that we definitely touched on not too long ago.
Yes. Yeah. And so, of course, the most important topic was the final topic, and we wanted to make sure that this person had a really good understanding of...
You're terrible, man.
So I added this last one in here as a joke, but We definitely talked about if Bryan knew the difference between coffee and caffeine. And I'll go ahead and let him answer the question. Did you get a chance?
Did I get a chance?
Did you get a chance to understand what the difference is?
Yeah, we spoke our piece on it back then. You know what I'm saying? Like I told you why I don't drink coffee. And
you drink highly caffeinated drinks, but it's not the same.
I don't drink highly caffeinated drinks. I drink water. I drink water. You look, what am I drinking? Oh shoot, what am I drinking right now? I drink water. Now I will drink an occasional soda. You know what I mean? Sprite, preferably.
We ain't talking about soda or Sprite. We talking about that Starbucks drink.
Oh, that refresher.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a little pick me up. You know what I mean? But that's not coffee though, man. And again, I told you the whole psychology of how my father and all that.
Well, it's clear to say he ain't learned his lesson. He don't know the difference.
Yeah, I'm standing on that. Yep. Yeah.
It's clear to say that he does not know the difference.
Yeah, so
one day
you'll
learn.
Okay. Anyway, like we appreciate all of you who've been listening up to this point. We wanted to kind of, with this being the last episode of the year, we wanted to kind of just like wrap up everything that we've been talking about, kind of just touch on it, make sure that everyone's grasping it. It's been close to 20 episodes now. So we really wanted to make sure that you're understanding the information, circle back, as we prepare for this new year. What do you have coming up, Sophia, coming up in this new year? This weekend, new week, all that good stuff. What you got going on? So
this weekend, I think I said it earlier, I'm going to really, really try to get all my Christmas decorations down, get the house real nice and tidy and clean for the new year. I like to do that. I like to cook a good meal on New Year's. And then my daughter's birthday is next Thursday, so I'm going to be having her a birthday dinner. Okay. Really excited about that. So she's turning 14. Okay. We started driving now. So, oh wow! Yeah, she's getting older. Then after that, my husband's birthday is January 13th. Okay. So it's like I go from Christmas to birthday, and then my son's birthday is in February.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So just preparing for that. I have a couple events coming up in the next couple weeks, so preparing for those, and then just pretty much mapping out next year. Yeah. And really trying to get my goals in order and get everything like finalized so it's not like a last minute thing. So that's really what I've been looking to do and what I have coming up.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, for actual New Year's, because New Year's is this weekend, just kind of relaxing, to be honest with you, reflecting, spending time with the family. I haven't, normally for New Year's, I don't really do much. I used to go to church on New Year's, and then I used to party and all that stuff back in the day. But now I kind of keep it just in the house. I normally get like a bottle of champagne or something and just kind of, celebrate that way, just, amongst, my immediate family here at the home. Mm-hmm. This year I'm actually making a brisket, which I'm looking forward to. I haven't done that before, so I'm looking forward to doing that. I mean, I've smoked this brisket for like 16 hours, so it's going to be, in there for a long time in my smoker. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'll probably have a couple of the fellas and, the families come over and, eat on it, tell me what they think. But yeah, I mean, 2023, I'm really looking for. I have a lot of goals set for 2023. I'm really looking forward to it. I know that it's a lot of uncertainty in our industry right now, a lot of things going on. Folks trying to figure out what's going on, what's next. But I know one thing that I'm always going to do is work hard and continue to put my best foot forward every single day. So I'm really looking forward to doing that, spending time with my family, and just continue to grow as a person, as a man, and in my community. So I'm just really looking forward to what the year has to come.
All right. Yeah. So typically we have a quote of the day. Yeah. But
and we got to do exercise our knowledge to answer too.
Oh yeah, we do. Yeah. We do. So earlier in the segment, I asked, when the lender calculates the debt to income ratio, do we consider utility bills like your electric bill, gas bill, cell phone, and things like that? And the final drum roll. Final drum roll, yeah. All right, guys. So the answer to that is
no. No. Yeah, we don't we do not calculate utilities and things of that nature when it comes to your debt to income and qualifying. So we really count just your credit driven debts, right? Or even just money, debts that you've been lent, even private, money that's been lent to you. So if you get like a private loan that you're obligated to pay back, or if you get
if you pay child support or alimony, we
correct.
Consider that.
That's a big one. Yeah. So we consider that. But when it comes to utilities and things of that nature, those things typically fluctuate when it comes to how much it is, and as far as the time frame also fluctuates and things of that nature, and those are just kind of like needed things. And so that's why they have the debt to income at a certain amount, which is typically around 50%. So half of your income can cover the new payment and then also the current debts that you have, right? And so they allow the other 50% to be accounted for when it comes to the other frivolous utilities and cell phones and water and cable and all the other good stuff. So
that's correct.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Yeah.
And so, like I was getting ready to say, typically we have a quote of the day, but I think that this time we should come up with it from the top of our head. What you want to say?
Man, I don't really have very much. I mean, just honestly, it's been a great year.
It has.
One of the best years of my life, I would say. Really, just excited for all the things that happened this year. I'm looking forward to next year and many years to come of, just God's grace.
Made some big purchases this year.
Yeah. Made some big purchases, man. Just, like I said, my kids have been growing, everything. I mean, I'm just ecstatic, man, looking at where things were at the beginning of the year to now. I mean, it's definitely moving the ball in the right direction. So all I'm going to say is just keep pushing forward. With whatever you have in life, whatever your goals are, whatever you're wanting to accomplish. Like I said, all that always continue. The ingredient in all that is always work. You know what I mean? So you got to figure out exactly what you want to do, and then you just got to go every day, to put your best foot forward towards it. So I'm just really looking forward to what the new year comes.
Yep. Yeah. And what I want to say is speak positivity into your life. Always stay positive, even when things are going wrong. Just speak, your next game ahead. You know what I mean? Like, keep the gratitude high. Be grateful for what you do have.
Yeah.
Speak affirmations into your life. And I think that with those keynotes, you will definitely get by.
Yeah.
And then you'll be able to look back and say, I did that.
There you go. That's good.
All right, guys. Well, that's all the time. I lost my train of thought for a second there. That's all the time that we have for you today. Please follow me on IG and Facebook. My name is SKB_mortgage. Bryan's is B Roy Star on both Facebook and IG.
Instagram, B Roy Star. Facebook is just as simply as my name, Bryan, Bryan. Last name Royster, Royster. And yeah, that's it. So we'll see you next year.
Yeah, thank you for listening to our podcast, and we will see you next year.